So there are a few wrestling-related topics. Let me bring the microphone closer. A few wrestling-related topics I want to cover. Um, so they're coming into Survivor Series, and AJ Styles beats Jinder Mahal. I wanted to say Muhammad Hassan. I'm like, no, Shannon, that's not it. It just feels like the Muhammad Hassan bits. So AJ Styles is now the champ, and of course he's facing Brock Lesnar, but it doesn't feel right to me. Something tells me there's going to be something screwy, and either Jinder's going to win it back on the go-home SmackDown before Survivor Series to create more heat for him, or Jinder's going to do something to AJ so that he gets his shot at Brock. So just something, it's not sitting right with me. Speaking of not sitting right, apparently Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been sent home from the current tour. Now, what's interesting is, on SmackDown, there was a match between Kofi and Sami, and the idea was that after the match, there was supposed to be some kind of a beatdown that happened, and Owens and Zayn decided, well, we're not doing that. Now, Kevin Owens, when he was Kevin Steen in ROH, had a lot of, shall we say, disagreements with Jim Cornette regarding the way that he would work. And that he would refuse to do certain things. He would refuse to put, I don't remember the exact wording, if it was refusing to put certain people over, make certain guys look strong, or if his ego just got in the way. Now, if his ego got in the way here, if this isn't just a storyline thing that they're doing to kind of create more interest, if this is real, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. And is Owens going to perhaps drag Sami Zayn down? Because now, along with this is a rumor that things haven't been great backstage for them, and they've had some heat with their own people. And of course, now John Cena has been announced for Team SmackDown and Survivor Series, and people are speculating, well, maybe Jinder dropped the title all of a sudden because of a wellness failure. So people are expecting a 30-day wellness issue, and I haven't read anything about it. Now, of course, I go through Lords of Pain, and Lords of Pain isn't. So I'm going to load up a different dirt sheet, but I haven't heard anything. It's interesting, too, because they've got on this other site here, on Bleacher Report, Dave Meltzer gets mentioned a lot. But Meltzer has been proven wrong before, and wrestlers have been very, very vocal about not liking Dave Meltzer. The thing I heard from, I think it was Kevin Nash, that said that he didn't like Meltzer because Meltzer talks like an insider, and I do my best not to do that because Nash is a big guy. I don't care how old he is. He's a big dude. I wouldn't want to make him angry. And that Meltzer talks like he's a part of the business when he's not. And that a lot of his rumors turn out to be kind of bogus. So I don't pay a lot of attention to Meltzer. I don't pay a lot of attention to the gossip sheets in general, unless there's a number of them that all come together and say, yeah, this is what's going on. Now, the idea that Meltzer's throwing out there is that AJ got the title because ratings have been down with Jinder Mahal as champion. Now, this is not Jinder's fault. Okay? This is WWE hotshots a guy into the title picture as champion who fans don't care about before he becomes champion. And they try to make him relevant after he became champion, using the belt to elevate him. The Miz, in a promo he did online about Baron Corbin, he said that I have elevated the Intercontinental title and you're using the U.S. title to elevate you. You're not strong enough on your own without the U.S. title. And you know what's funny? He's right. He's 100% right. So whether this is an out-of-character, blurt by The Miz, or this is just scripted as being part of his character, it's 100% correct. A great wrestler doesn't need a belt. A great wrestler doesn't need a belt to elevate them to the next level. An example where the belt hurt somebody, I think, was Dolph Ziggler back when he had the belt very, very briefly and then gave it up. And it made him look kind of like a joke. And it didn't help that he had Vicky Guerrero as a heater at the time that this all took place. And they made it that Vicky basically handed him the title. And then as soon as he has to put up or shut up, he's done. He loses. Jinder, I think, can be built up properly. I think where they missed was Jinder was he should have had a nice long run with the U.S. title first. Meanwhile, you can put Rusev into that world title position. I don't understand what they're doing with Rusev. Rusev is nothing but pure gold. He is a fantastic talker. I never thought I said that. He's awesome, and all you have to do is put his wife in the ring with him. Drop the Russian accent. We know she doesn't talk Russian because we've seen, I mean, next week on WWE, they have the ride-along with the two of them together, and she's talking in a regular voice. Have them come out as CJ and Rusev. Have them come out and have, you know, you could have an amazing bit. You could get him over big time as a face right now. Of course, there was also something I saw Triple H where he was talking about when he became Triple H. And that he came in with the name Paul Levesque, and they said, well, you're French. We can't turn a guy face if he's French. The people in charge of WWE still think that way. That you as a fan, especially if you're American, you won't cheer for a guy with a French name, so they have to make it an American-sounding name. They underestimate their audience. Absolutely, they underestimate their audience. There was a segment in NXT where Marie Soulette, when they were doing where they had all the latest NXT coming in, and they're all being interviewed about why they should be in the WWE roster. And I'm trying to remember who it was who was intimidating her and kind of creeping on her. And she was kind of backing down and looking down, and she looked really kind of frightened and nauseated at the same time. And I thought, you could turn her face right now. She is a very sympathetic character. There are women who understand that feeling. You could turn her face right now. And what did they do? They ignored that it ever happened, and she was still a heel the next week. I was so disappointed. But they did that because she's French. And I knew that. I thought they will not turn her because she's French. So because she's French and she's got that accent to her character, they can't make her the good guy because they don't think it'll work. And I think it will. And I think Rusev would be a good example of how to make this work. So Jinder and Rusev have been, you know, buddies for a while on show whenever they feel like it. Jinder could take out his frustrations on Baron Corbin or Sin Cara. I don't know why Sin Cara is in this title fight. I don't understand that feud at all. I'm bewildered and baffled by it. I don't know why they have to keep feeding guys to Corbin that are tiny. I'm not sure what they're doing here. They're exposing that Baron Corbin, his mobility in the ring is below that of other guys who are more entertaining. And I think if you put Jinder into a feud there, so I don't care if you turn Baron face or what you do. You probably can. Corbin can probably work as a face. He's an interesting enough guy. When he was in NXT and they had a bunch of behind the scenes stuff with him, they showed him out shopping with, I want to say, Tyler Breeze. I know it was one of the other guys who was down there at the time in NXT, and they were out shopping, and he has some weird tastes in terms of stuff he shops for. He goes into these voodoo stores and looks for these really weird, creepy skull things. I think you could play up that side of his personality and make him a very strong face, make him kind of creepy and weird, but still make it so the fans cheer for him. If they'll cheer for Jake the Snake, they'll cheer for creepy and weird. And just in general, I think for me, SmackDown is just a little bit off. So you put Rusev into that title fight trying to avenge his friend Jinder. Jinder's still upset over losing to AJ. So you can have Rusev come out, and then something happens backstage between AJ and CJ, who's Rusev's wife. And she's not being Lana in that moment. She's just regular clothes, and something happens backstage. And you could have a moment that feels legit. Where they're like, where people watching would go, wait a minute, what just happened? This is live, right? Did AJ just knock out CJ Parker? Did Rusev just come out without his accent and just yell and scream at AJ? Is she talking without her accent? What happened here? Is this legit? Something happens backstage. Rusev loses it. And you could get a feud going there. You can bury the Lana character. And the stupidity that's been going on with that. She's legitimately trying to get better in the ring. Just take that gimmick and just stick it. Like, because, and this all comes down to the biggest problem, you know, when the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn thing and the AJ winning and all of this stuff. At the end of the day, it's you and I are in on the joke now. So the whole wrestling marks thing is kind of ancient history unless they're little kids. So we all know what's going on. We all know that they're playing a character in the ring. It's not who they really are. So why doesn't WWE do what they were doing during the Attitude Era, where they would admit person A doesn't like person B backstage. They've almost got that with Enzo. Very close to reality with Enzo. Just play it up. Just play it up. Have people be the real selves. Take the stupid gimmicks and phase them out, and have guys come out. You can leave gimmicks with like Sin Cara, Kalisto, that kind of thing. You can leave guys under their masks. Rey Mysterio was never hurt during that era, being Rey Mysterio either. But get rid of some of the silliness. Have more of a gritty reality to it, because the most interesting thing that WWE does is the shows where they where they talk about the behind the scenes stuff. That's what will draw new viewers in. That's what made Stone Cold such a fantastic story. That's what made Mick Foley a legend. I mentioned this in a video earlier. If wrestling really wants to get back to where it was, if they want to become must-see TV, they have to blur those lines again. They have to make it so we watch something and we go, was that really supposed to happen? I don't know that was supposed to happen. And then we all go online and talk about it. And there's a buzz. And there's not enough of that anymore. When was the last time something happened in wrestling that you went, huh, was he supposed to say that? I mean, I remember CM Punk's pipe bomb very well. Because you could tell he was saying things and you're like, oh, he just said that. Holy crap. Because you knew his contract was almost up. You knew he was miserable in WWE. He was mad that his friend Colt Cabana didn't get a better shake in WWE. And here he is talking about all this stuff that we've only heard on dirt sheets. WWE needs to just take the power away from the dirt sheets by blurring that line, by doing stuff that has a long-range plan to it. These reports of, well, SmackDown doesn't know what it's doing until 20 minutes before air sound way too much like Nitro in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, when they were going under. It's getting way too close to that. And fans tune out. You can tell when a storyline is really sloppy. And you can tell when it's done really, really well. And it doesn't take a lot. Just blur that line a little bit. And you've got a main eventer in Rusev. And CJ or Lana, whatever name you want to give her, she's one of the most beautiful women on the planet. She's a tremendously good speaker. She's very intelligent. Don't stick her in a corner in a ball gown and have her dancing around with Tamina Snuka and acting like a twit. Give her a microphone. Put her in the ring. Have her be herself. Drop the Russian accent. Have her there as either a heater for Rusev or somebody that makes you feel bad for Rusev. So maybe AJ hits her backstage and he feels bad about it and he apologizes. And she's talking to Rusev about, it wasn't on purpose and he's apologized and Rusev's just crazy because his wife got hit backstage. And you could have such a good storyline out of that. And instead, I have a funny feeling next week they'll either give the belt back to Jinder or they'll just use this as some excuse to get Jinder the title back in a month. And they'll blow it. Because that's usually what happens. And I've watched them do it with Ambrose. I've watched them do it with Rollins. I've watched them do it even with Roman Reigns. Moments when they should go over. Moments when these guys can get built up and the crowd's ready. And WWE's writers, for whatever reason, go, we're not going to do that. The crowd wants to support Rusev. Look on Twitter. Look at Rusev Day. Look at the amount of Rusev mentions. And please, for the love of God, let Randy Orton be himself. Let Randy Orton come out and be the same guy on wrestling that he is on Twitter. He's amazing on Twitter. And since we see behind that veil, and most hardcore fans do, and it's that fan base you still have, then, you've got to grow the fan base. There was one time, actually, about 2 years ago, that I emailed WWE and I told them I'm canceling my subscription to your network and here's why. And I told them this was when they had just given Sheamus the title and they were building up towards Sheamus versus Roman. And I said, you guys don't seem to hear the boos for Roman and you don't seem to understand that while Sheamus is a tremendous wrestler, nobody cares about Sheamus. And you can't put a belt on somebody and make us care. And I named off 3 or 4 guys and I said, any of these guys, if they had the title, the crowd would go nuts, your ratings would go up, and your product would get better. And it was about a 3-page letter I wrote him, and I never heard back. But it was from a fan who genuinely wanted to see the product get better. in this day and age, reality TV, and we all know reality TV's BS. Survivor's BS, all Big Brother's BS, all of them are just absolute crap. There's no way that the network doesn't skew who's going to win just a little bit. Just, well, here's an immunity idol for this guy because he just happened to find it. Yeah, no, it's all rigged. So, you know, WWE is in a position right now where they can take advantage and they can pick up market share. And all they have to do is give us a reason to care. AJ winning the title is a start, so finish it. Give us other reasons to care. Don't just throw the belt back on Jinder. Don't just have some schmoz finish where Brock beats AJ due to interference from Jinder. Bring something else into it. Make the storyline more real, more down to earth. That's my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.